Hey everybody, I'm so tired, but these are one of the priorities on my list, so we're gonna get through it. Today we're gonna be talking about when God takes you out of your comfort zone. And I know I'm definitely going through a time now. I'm on a contract where I'm definitely feeling out of my comfort zone. And it's funny because I knew that this was coming. This lesson of being out of my comfort zone was coming because of how I felt before I even came here. And I remember my mom asking me, "Oh, are you excited? Are you ready for your next contract?" And I replied, "No." And it was mainly because I didn't know what was coming. Didn't. I felt grateful. I wasn't upset about it. I just felt indifferent towards it. And I know it was because I didn't know it was coming. Meaning, usually when I book a contract, I know the exact role that I'm playing, so that I'm able to prepare my vocal line so that I could kind of be like on point for the rehearsal process, and we could move quickly through the rehearsal process. Um, but this time is much, much different. Um, I am doing Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm playing one of the urchins. And for those who are not familiar with it, it's one of the black girls. Duh. And they didn't assign us specific parts until our first day here, so they can pick whoever, what was best for everybody. And so I didn't get a chance to rehearse it ahead of time. So, of course, I was assigned what I feel is the most difficult part. It's the lower vocal line. You can't hear it at all in the music. It's just totally, it's hard. And yeah, like I said, I kind of chuckled to myself when because I knew it was coming, and I knew God was getting ready to put me in a place where I would feel very uncomfortable. I knew He was going to completely isolate me from, people. I'm in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, and secondly, I knew that He was going to make it so I would have to totally depend on Him. So as I'm going through this experience, I'm learning that I've been so blessed within my 6 years of working, and I mean this in the most humblest of ways. Um, I've been blessed to have main roles where I'm usually learning a solo or duet, um, but the downfall of that has been that I haven't been able to work on like tight knit harmonies. Now I can sing the tight knit harmonies. It takes me a little bit more time to actually retain it. So while I'm in rehearsal, the other girls are plowing through the music, and meanwhile back at the ranch, I'm looking like, just go ahead and plunk that out for me, and I'm gonna take it home and I'll bring it back tomorrow. So it feels very uncomfortable. So of course, after my first day of rehearsal, I come back to my room and I'm beating myself up. I'm suppressing the tears. I'm trying to suppress the perfectionist in me. I'm trying to exercise my faith. And all of a sudden, I hear God say, "Stop it. I'm pulling you out of your comfort zone because I'm stretching you. And I'm stretching you because I'm preparing you for what's coming next." So my response was, "Oh, so you know I could do this then. This means that you know I could do it." So I had to calm myself down and practice what I learned that day. And the next day I went in with a more, hopeful attitude. Now, what happens when we're in this, uncomfortable zone? Um, the enemy is ready to attack because this is where it's like the Bible say, when we're weak. But the good thing about that is when we're weak, God is the strongest. That's when He can be His strongest. So during this time, you're gonna have to fight for the purity of your mind, and you do that by counteracting negative thoughts with positive thoughts. I like to call it manifesting. So when I'm manifesting something, when I want something to happen, so right now I gotta learn this show in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, but whatever. And it's so much. It's a lot. It's a lot to retain. So when I'm manifesting, I only spend time thinking about what it is I want. There is no such thing as failure. Nothing opposite of what I want exists. Okay, so I meditate on it. I see it. I smell it. I think it. I hear it. And so if it's real in your mind, it's real. And so I say it like it's already done. And of course, in my case, I gotta, practice, work hard, and while all this is going on, I just gotta trust God and just depend on Him totally. But so while you're taking out, while you're in this comfort zone, here's pen and paper. So while you feel like you're being out of this comfort zone, you first have to recognize, you got to recognize it, because when you know that this is that time, you can then set yourself up to get through it and not be totally miserable. You can have it. You can do it with the great attitude. So the first thing you need to do when you realize that you're being taken out of your comfort zone because God is stretching you to prepare you for what is next, you wake up thinking about what it is that you want to accomplish that day. So you take it day by day. Take it one day at a time. So wake up thinking about what it is that you want to accomplish that day. Write it down, check it off the list. And I do this because as I'm checking off the list, I see how much I'm progressing, and that makes me hopeful for the next day. Secondly, focus on yourself, okay? When you focus on others during the time that you're not in your comfort zone, you compare yourself, you feel discouraged, and you lose confidence in yourself. And this is the enemy's number one tactic, to throw you off your game. So just focus on yourself. It's very easy for me to be in rehearsal with the girls, and they're amazing and they're very talented. It's very easy for me to be like, they got it and I don't, and I'm slowing them down. But I can't think about that, else it'll just slow me down even more. So I have to focus on myself. So take it one day at a time and focus on yourself. Lastly, talk to God, okay? Like, constantly talk to God when you're going through this time. Tell Him what it is you're struggling with, and say to yourself, remind yourself of His promises out loud. Lord, you told me to be strong and courageous and not to be frightened, because you was going to be with me wherever I go. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and do not lean on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Because I know when I go into rehearsal the next day after rehearsing all night and I still mess up that day, I don't understand, but I quickly remember that I can't go based off of what I understand. I got to know that I acknowledge God, and so because of that, He will make all my ways straight. So, just know that it's His promise. Those are His promises. They'll never change. So here are some scriptures to think about when you're going through this season of feeling very uncomfortable. Joshua 1:9, Proverbs 3:5-6, and Philippians 4:13. I hope to see y'all next week. I will have way more energy. Repost, share, like, comment, message me if you want to talk about it. If you guys have any information, anything you want to talk about, I'm here. Thank you for tuning in.